It's Caner Tip Tuesday, and today we're going to do a follow-up to last week's what is that skill that you should add to your cane skills if you have a concern for self-protection. We looked at the empty hand. We had a discussion, just common sense, the discussion that you got to have an empty hand skill set. If you have a legitimate concern for self-protection, you can't rely on any tool, including the cane. You are the tool. Today, I'm going to give you a demonstration as to how to actually do those translations, because there are several levels. But before we do that, a warm welcome to all, especially if you're here for the first time. Do this before you forget. If you like the content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so that you don't miss anything in the future, and avail yourself of the free resources. The most important one is that no cost cane clarity call. Schedule that, text the letter CCC to the number on the screen, and in less than 24 hours, we will be in a conversation with you, listening to you where you are right now. What is it about anything that you've seen in the research you've done regarding cane and cane self-protection and movement? What is it that attracts you so that we can give you an actual plan? It doesn't cost you a penny to go ahead and do that. And it's going to save you time, funds, and frustration. You have a couple of Facebook groups that are now open to the public. Just read the description below, request entry. They will let you right in. So I want to preface today by saying that what I'm going to share with you is really basic. It's elementary and ACSD, because there are different levels of reveal. So the first one of those empty hand translations is the direct translation. Most of the time, even if you're not trained in ACSD, you can see the relationship. For instance, ACSD straight off, you come in and power shot template 1s and 2s. Well, and see, right, it's something like this, throws a shot with head pop, regardless of where you're coming in. So when you don't have that, right, if I move, well, that's a shot, very specifically anatomical targeting to a point that leaves this area open, and you're going in with the forearm, for instance, because it fits perfectly here. The area, you have the SEM muscle border with the trapezius and the clavicle nerve-rich area. Bang, that's going to stun there. So it's not just that you're coming right back with a hammer fist clawing motion. Those are things you can see pretty direct. In the flows, if I do a movement that looks like this, and I come out here and strike down, you can see here's a strike. I'm striking to the shin and then hooking that leg, pulling up when she's down, stomping down. That has an empty hand translation just right here. Bang, here you're striking to the groin. You're going to pull that, right, lock up the leg. Those are direct. You can see that pretty easily. From there on, the different layers of reveal, the second level is understanding what the movements mean. Let me give you an example. Sometimes those that are not familiar with, they'll see the handling. Here, I'm showing you, these are figure eights, but you see something that looks like this and then comes back, and you hear the comments, you read sometime, oh, I would knock the cane right out of there, if you come with all that spinning stuff. Well, that's a very linear way of thinking, right? That's like looking at a boxer who trains on a speed bag for timing and for rhythm, and then you expect them to go in the ring and go ahead and do that. Well, that's not the purpose of that in ACSD, right? So it's a kinesthetic drill. For instance, if you're moving here, these backhand spins, very relaxed, tight in the guard zone. I'll explain what that means in a second. Elbow in, very much by design. The trajectory of how that cane moves is giving you how the locking mechanism happens. Even if I'm not holding on, but she is tight, she's going to punch, and I move out. See how it throws off the biomechanics. It's moving in this way. Same thing when she throws a strike to the inside. Well, it's to the inside. This works just as well for me to move in here. That all comes from something like this. Same thing when I move back. For those of you that are in advanced and you do something, your footwork, you have something called a crossover Charleston, and you come in here. Well, if I do something like that, by the time I'm here, there's a timing pattern. It comes right back down. Why is it that when my right foot is forward, my right hand is down? So why is it that I have this in the movement? You see it in SV as well. You come in here, that movement. Why do you have that movement down, for instance? What does that mean? That means that if she's throwing a strike with that hand, when I come in here, that foot that comes over on the Charleston hooks behind, and this hand is always clawing down. It's a reminder that the timing of the movement is here. Bang, bang, right? Boom, to take her off her feet and rake across the eyes. So it has it already built in. The third layer is even more so, is where it tells you, it gives you, it's a reminder of how the tactical principles work. Two ways, what to do, but also what not to do. For instance, all the handling, ACSD cane, from the day, it doesn't matter what they're doing with the cane. You'll notice that everything in here is tight here with respect to that, imagine it, that guard zone, which means that any way she attacks, whether she throws a punch, doesn't matter if it comes wide, doesn't matter if she's coming with a push, everything has to go through here. So we get very good at handling from here, not just with the cane, but the cane teaches the empty hand. So it moves, everything moves right in here in a very tight space. When you see caners coming into that quote unquote circle, doing things like that, or you see something like here, and then you see this and you stop here. Well, the circle implies multiple assailants, and you're trying to keep everyone in your 10 and 2 field of vision. Anytime you see a caner come out here, whether it's with the cane or the empty hand, when she throws that, that's that armadillo that's designed, right, to stop this movement here, right? So you do this, you came out, it's this armadillo. Wait, if you remove that, take that cane away from me, right? You already have this. Same thing with when you see this kind of movement, right? Those head loops, say you're showing off, right? That's your mask. You're putting on that mask because you're dealing in a mass situation where 1, 2 maybe coming at you. The most important thing to protect is the computer, because if you get hit in the head, you get disoriented, then they can take advantage of you, right? So that's how you start thinking of the movement, and it's a whole language. It's got its own language. You're learning how to read so that when you see a caner out there doing certain movements, if you don't know any better, well, you don't know what to look at. You don't know what those things mean. You don't know, right, what the handling means. But now you know that teaches the empty hand. There's a type of flow. There are tactical principles tied in. And you'd be able to say, oh, that's what he's doing. That's this type of footwork for this, this, and that. Otherwise, you look at it from the outside. If you're doing that in the park, nobody's saying, wow, he's a dangerous individual. No, he's just exercising with that cane. Right? But the movements are not, right? There's no anything that implies that you're doing any damage with those tools, and yet it's hidden in there. That's the essence of cane flow in the empty hand translation. Hey, how do you learn this? Give us a call. Schedule that. Text those letters, CCC, to the number on the screen. Let's have a conversation first before you do anything. Do not enroll in any courses. The only thing you want to enroll in now, if you're like the Sobrevivencia and this, the empty hand translations, Winter Cane Immersion is already closed for in-person, but you have the online version, and you'll also have access to the recordings. While supply lasts, we'll also send you the shirt. Before you do any of that, give us a call at the headquarters, 800-289-8188. Let's have a conversation. Let's find out what's important to you, and more importantly, how can we make it happen? Okay? All right. I'm Joe Robaina for ACSD. Thanks for watching. Keep caning. Stay safe.